I am also a stand-up comedian extraordinaire. And what's going on? I just passed a milestone. I totally forgot. December 7th. Or was it the 8th? I don't know. Early December 2021 was my 13th year as a stand-up comedian. Now, that might sound impressive. That might not sound so impressive. You know how those old road dogs are, you know, some grizzled old comic. Yeah, we've been doing comedy since you were in diapers, boy. You ain't got shit on me, boy. You think you're funny? Yeah, you ain't no headliner, boy. You couldn't hold a candle to my mic stand, boy. You know, some grizzled old vet, you know? So like 13 years in comedy, I mean, to the layman, that's quite a bit. But to the true artist, the true craftsman, craft person, 13 years is like a tear bucket and a teardrop. Or a bucket and a tear, what? 2 tears in a bucket, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying. It's like a tear in a bucket. In the world of comedy. 13 years. Not all that much. A lot of successes, a lot of failures, a lot of triumphs and tribulations in that time. I certainly learned a lot. Certainly did a lot. Certainly wasted a lot of time, you know, drunk, high, laying about, you know. But hey, that's the game. And, you know, I've actually, in the past year, hit some milestones, some benchmarks, some things that I know personally are quite challenging to achieve in a stand-up comedy career. And I'm very happy to be able to share that with y'all very soon. So, where I sit at 13 years a stand-up comedian, I mean, all's bumps a daisy, you know? Feeling kind of groovy, working on a movie. Yeah, right, but we did nothing. Actually shit and giggles that day. You know? Of course, there were some bombs, like what you just witnessed, you know? You know, it's always good to break out into a song when, you know, your mind just drifts. Or like, what am I even getting at? What am I even trying to say? You know, let's throw a dick joke in there or break out into a show tune or, you know, whatever. Make a grandiose gesture. That'll trick them. So, you know, actually bombing is something that I've come to enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, you can get to a place in comedy where you don't even really care anymore. I mean, the objective is always to be funny. The objective is always to, hey, let's kill these motherfuckers. I want to kill. But if we don't, we can take a gracious smattering of applause. And if that is withheld, then I'll accept a callous, detached, disinterested, unanimous stare down from the audience, which can be technically considered a bomb. Hell, I can even accept booing. Heckling. Oh, that's a bitch. Because my approach to dealing with a heckler has changed a bit. Some people think if you're getting heckled that you double down, and if they're giving you a hard time, then you double down and you give it to them with both barrels. Fuck your mother, fuck this, you're a fucking bastard child. I hope your fucking firstborn son gets raped by a pack of fucking hyenas. Like, you know, whatever. Go vulgar, go blue, go cringe, go nuclear. You know, just shit on them. You know? Some people think that's the recipe, design, tactic for dealing with a heckler. But here's the thing. When you're doing the art of comedy, whatever your bag is, you know, some people are observational, some people are cringe, some people are woke, some people are dirty, some people are punny. I'm a punny kind of comic, you know? Whatever the bumbleclut fuck. When you're doing the craft of comedy, I personally feel my subjectivity on the matter regarding hecklers. Yeah, I've done it before where it's like, you know, you double down, you scream at a heckler, you shit on them. I've done it where you're like a deer in headlights. You just kind of freeze and hope they shut up. I've done it where it's like you play along with them and it's just kind of a funny banter, hoping that they will clue in. I've gone the route where you just ignore it. You say one thing and you ignore it, and then hopefully it goes away. It's never a right or wrong way, but what I think works for me is this is a person screaming out nonsensically. They're usually intoxicated or they have some sort of spiritual malady. They just feel so small inside where it's like they can't understand the situation, see the forest for the trees. You're sitting in the audience of a stand-up comedy show. If you want to be a stand-up comic, why don't you train and, you know, take the fucking road that it takes to, you know, be a successful comic. It's not exactly easy. But no, they want to scream out like a child or like some spiritually wounded person where it's like they can't even see the ugliness and the pig-headedness of their actions. Having been there myself before, I can say these things. So it's like, I take the approach with a heckler where it's like, oh, this is an invalid. And what I do now is, they think the power is in saying something. They think the craft of comedy is just saying something, blurting out something obnoxious. Fuck you. You suck. Kiss my ass. Just screaming out something foul, thinking that that's comedy. No, it's a craft. You know, I'm a raconteur, motherfucker. Right? Like I said, I trained diligently to do this. You know, writing, stage performance, stage presence, pantomime, hangovers, drug and alcohol problems, personal crises, all the kit and caboodle that comes with being a stand-up comic. You know, it's a craft. It's not just shouting shit out like a jackanape. Fuck you. And then what, am I supposed to go back and forth with that? No, fuck you. Fuck your mother. I'm gonna tell you something. I can be very foul and cutting with a microphone. It's just like, nah. I'd rather just kind of take a lighthearted approach, wait for them to say something stupid, which they're most inevitably gonna do, point out the stupidity of their comments, hopefully try to reason with them, get to them through humor. And if it becomes a point where they're just not getting the point, then they gotta go. This is in the imagination of like I was getting booked and dealing with my own shows and I had the power to tell a club, kick that motherfucker out. Like when I get to that point, or back to that point rather, you know, pandemic and problems aside, you know, when I get back to that point, you know, that's how I deal with it. It's not to go nuclear on them and try to, you know, fight fire with fire. I'm not even playing their game. I'm a craftsman. They're just some jackanape screaming out in a fucking audience like a moron, not understanding that they're witnessing a performance, whether they like it or not, and that they don't have to be there. I'm not gonna fight fire with fire. I'm not even playing their game. They're an ignoramus. I'm an artiste. So suffice to say, I picked up a couple things in my 13 years of stand-up comedy. So there you have it, folks. Jonathan Ramcharan, stand-up comic extraordinaire. Yes,